Page 7 of lines. Let's for the next one, D here, I am going to do one problem using y equals mx plus c and not the calculator, and then I'll do one or two with the calculator. So like for this first one, I can see that the y-intercept is -2, right? And the slope looks like it's 1 unit across and 2 units up. So that would mean that the slope is rise of 2 over a run of 1. So if I was to make an equation for that, it would be y equals 2x minus 2, right? Next one, I'm going to pick out 2 points. So I'm going to pick out this point, and I'm going to pick out this point. The 2 points are -1, 0, and 2, -1. And I'm going to put those into the calculator, into stat edit, and then I'm going to do lin reg. -1, 2, (0), -1. Okay. And I will do stat, calc, lin reg, and I get y equals 0.333, oh, it's -0.333, x minus 0.333. Let me rewrite that. Y equals -0.33, x minus 0.333. Okay, and for this last one, let's see, there is a point, and there is a point. Okay, so I'm going to put in -3, -3, and 2, 1. So we'll do stat, edit, -3, -3, oops, -3, oops, I messed up, this one is 2. Okay, -3, -3, 2, 1. Stat, calc, 4. Y equals 0.8x minus 0.6. Okay? You can do a quick check to make sure that all your slopes are in the right direction. This one's going up, so it's positive. This one's going down, so it's negative. And this one's going up, so it's positive, right? You can also make sure that your y-intercepts are about right. -2, yeah, that looks like about -2. This looks like it's between 0 and -1. Yeah, that's right. And this looks, it's like it's between 0 and -1. Yeah, that's right. So just because you do it with the calculator doesn't mean you can't use your knowledge of lines to confirm your answers. Exercise 3. Find the equations of these lines. Give your answers in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are integers. Okay, a line with gradient -4 that passes through the point 5, 0. I just provided this to help you make sketches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it goes through 5, 0, and it has a gradient of -4. A gradient of -4 means rise of -4, run of 1. So it's about like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I can like draw a line through it, right? It's about like that. How can you figure this out easily with what we know? Well, I could just put these 2 points in the calculator and do linreg, right? What's this point? This would be 4, 4. So like this grid paper really helps us make a sketch, right? So I'll do stat, edit, and I'll put 4, 4, 5, 0. Stat, calc, linreg, calculate. Okay, it's going to be y equals -4x, of course -4, because they gave us the gradient as -4, plus 20. Okay? A line with gradient 1/2 that passes through the point 2, 3. Let's see, 2, 3 will be there. A gradient of 1/2 means a rise of 1 and a run of 2, so it would be kind of like that. So we got 2, 3, and we also have 0, 2. In this particular case, I found the y-intercept, right, by coincidence, so I don't even need to necessarily do linreg because I have the slope, they gave it to me, the gradient, and I have the y-intercept too. The line joining the points 3, -2 and -1, 3. Oh, okay, these guys, they thought they were giving me a hard problem, but they didn't realize that linreg makes this the easiest possible problem. 3, -2 and -1, 3. Okay, and then I'm gonna do stat, calc, 4, so we get y equals -1.25 plus 1.75. The line joining the points 0, 5 and -5, 0. Again, this is the easiest kind of problem if you have the calculator. 0, 5 and -5, 0. Stat, calc, number 4, linreg. Y equals 1x plus 5. Okay? Alright. Number 2. Rewrite each of these equations. Oh, did it tell me to give it? Sorry about that. They told me to put it in ax plus by plus c equals 0 form. So I need to adjust these, don't I? So like what I need to do is put 0 on one side. Okay? So like for this case here, I could just subtract y from both sides, right? 0 equals -4x minus y plus 20. Done. For this one here, first I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to subtract y from both sides. So 0 equals 1/2 x minus y plus 2, right? The other thing I'm going to do is I have a 1/2 here, and that means that this is not a whole number, and they said a, b, and c needed to be integers. So I'm going to put 0, or I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So 0 times 2 is 0, so the left side doesn't change. 1/2 times 2 is 1x, so I'm going to put 1x. 2 times negative y is minus 2y, and plus 2 times 2 is 4. Okay? Negative 1.25 plus 1.75. First, it's negative 1.25x plus 1.75, right? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract y to the right side. So I have 0 equals negative 1.25x minus y plus 1.75. Okay? Then I'm going to try to get rid of these 0.25s here. The way I can do that is I can multiply by a number. I've seen like kids do this. This is pretty clever. You could just multiply everything by 100. And if you multiply everything by 100, you just have just huge numbers, but they never said that they have to be, you know, small numbers, right? You could do that. That's pretty easy. The smallest possible number you could multiply this expression by and not and still have integers would be 4. Does that make sense? Because there's a 0.25 here. If you multiply it times 4, or you have a 3/4 here. If you multiply it times 4, the fraction will disappear, right? So 1.25 times 4 is 5. So the first one's going to be 0 equals negative 5x minus 4y, and then we'll multiply 1.75 times 4, 7 plus 7. Okay? Let's go. Now the next one is y equals 1x plus 5. So this is the same as 0 equals 1x minus y plus 5. Okay? Alright, so we put everything in what they call standard form. Rewrite each of these equations in the form y equals mx plus c. Make y the subject of the formula. So we want a y by itself on the left and everything else on the right. It's very useful for us because that's the way the calculator wants stuff too, right? Subtract 3x from both sides, you get y equals negative 3x, and you're done. On this one here, y is here. Let's subtract x from both sides, subtract 1 from both sides, and we end up with y equals negative x minus 1. And this one here, y is right there. We're going to subtract 2x, and we're going to add 1. And then we're going to get y equals negative 2x plus 1. 2x minus 4y equals 0. So again, we're trying to get y by itself, so let's add 4y to both sides. And then we'll get 2x equals 4y. And then to get y by itself, we divide both sides by 4. We get 1/2 x equals y. And then this one here, we get y by itself. Let's subtract 6x to the other side. Let's add 9 to the other side. 3y equals negative 6x plus 9. We're going to divide both sides by 3. We'll get y equals negative 2x plus 3. And I think we're done.